Hello, and welcome to another episode of The Unknown Experts. I'm Roger.
I'm Mike, as always.
And you know who we are. We're the gurus, the guides, whatever you want to call us. Just make sure you call us.
We're the earbuds.
That's it. And first and foremost, we want to apologize. We promised you guys a couple of commentaries. There was a lot of fights this weekend.
Family emergency.
We couldn't do it, but we're going to make it up for you this weekend. We got Usman, Maya, and a couple of other fights, but we're going to give you commentary to all of them.
Yeah, we're going to try to follow through, get as much content as possible to make up for missing out on the dual Bellator UFC events we missed.
Now that that's out of the way, speaking of the dual events, before we get into the UFC event, I just want to say, called the Bellator cards with T. My partner called Czech Congo having his first finish since my kids have been born, and I called the other two fights.
Yet I bet against him.
I don't know why.
I bet against Czech Congo, but I said, imagine if Czech lands a right hook and he lands a right hook.
Literally classic, vintage, back to the cage, Pat Barry style right hook puts him out.
Just done.
We had that. That was a great fight. We had
we had everything we expected from Paul Daly, John Finch.
Oh, absolutely. I didn't even need to watch it.
In the first round, Finch did exactly what you said. Is he went for like one of those no look,
just dive on.
He ate a knee.
And which you did call.
That gave me a little hope because he ate the knee and he just missed the counter hook.
See, that fight, unless you sleep him in the first minute, that's what's gonna happen. Unless you have good counter wrestling. Or you're Damian Maya.
Or your name's not Paul Daly.
And then we have the main. Listen, I said this before. I said there was no way on God's green earth that King Mo was winning this fight, but I didn't expect 15 seconds. Come on.
Yeah, you were right, and then some.
I didn't expect 15 seconds. That's crazy.
Ryan just touched him.
Literally, it didn't. Like, and they're like, "Oh, a hook." I don't know if it was a hook or a jab. The way it landed, it was just.
It was a hook because he had an arch in the punch.
Yeah, but like there was nothing on it.
In the distance they were at, the camera maybe threw it a little bit.
I saw it from a couple of different angles, but it was still crazy.
I didn't see an angle where it was clear enough, to break down exactly where it landed. But it had to be on the end of the chin.
Well, yeah, because it looked like his chin was down too. It was, I don't know, it was just.
And that always kind of that's just the unwritten thing in fighting is that when a guy has it down but not tucked, he's not fighting down,
there's a difference.
It's more weak.
Yeah, I believe it. You know,
I mean, if you just feel your chin in that angle right there, it feels kind of loose the way it hangs. Who knows?
I don't know. Maybe he knew that though. Maybe that's why he grew his beard out. Maybe that's why he was trying to emulate Kimbo, like you said. Maybe he knew. Maybe he knew something that we didn't.
But nevertheless, Bader advances. He knocks out Mo in 15 seconds.
And with each fight in this tournament, I hate to flip flop, but with each fight, I'm liking somebody else.
Yeah, it's getting interesting.
Like, how do you not jump on the Bader train right now? I mean, granted, Mo was, I won't say he was the easiest one in the division.
Well, I mean, if you look at the first two, you had 2 decisions, and now boom, 2 flash KOs.
First minute of the fight.
Yeah, and I mean, nearly 3 because Fedor got clipped in the.
He did get dropped right in the first 10-second mark.
And there's I got to rewatch it, but some people were saying that he wasn't as hurt as it seemed, that he misstepped, and that's what caused it to look like it.
I gotta see it again, but I think that he was hurt.
Yeah, no, I definitely think he was hurt,
especially the way he got up and tried to dust it off.
But it's the question of how hurt.
I don't think he was, because you got to remember he got dropped in the Mitrione fight, and he wasn't out. He got dropped, and then Mitrione jumped on him. But they both got dropped. Mitrione just got to his feet faster.
I was going to go back even farther to the Maldonado fight.
Oh, he was hurt now.
But when he got hurt in that fight, the same type of punch, he went Scooby-Doo legs.
Yeah, he was samboing.
But he still managed to clinch and survive.
Yeah.
In this fight, he got clipped, and I want to say right after the toss and the shake-off, he did the classic Fedor, that shimmy.
Yeah, the shoulder bounce.
Yeah, where he, the pecs are twirling and shit, and, he seemed, good to go. But not the rest on that one, because we got the matchups now. We got the Final Four.
Yeah.
So we got Son and Fedor, and we got Bader versus
Mitrione. But here's the thing, though. When it was all set on paper, I was like, I don't care. those are two matchups that really like. Bellator's doing their thing. Those matchups grab me.
Yeah, they're interesting. They're very interesting.
Son and Fedor still takes the cake to me, just for nostalgia purposes and a fun fight. But I do think that the best fight, skill, technique, everything wise, is Mitrione and Bader. That's the most intriguing fight, technique wise, personality wise, and story wise. I'm leaning towards Fedor and Son all day.
Oh yeah, and Son's going to carry that aspect.
Oh, absolutely. It's going to be. I wish it was pay-per-view for them because that'd be the biggest pay-per-view.
Oh yeah, it's just so you get curse and shit.
No, what?
So you get curse and shit.
Oh, no, just in general. No, I just number watch for them. I feel bad because like their last pay-per-view did like 14 buys.
The last two.
Yeah, they're only two.
Yeah. So well, here's the thing though. Like, I mean, tell me where you feel on this. Should they go Pride style and have both semis the same night?
No, because you don't want to shoot your load.
So
because
you're saying from the business standpoint.
Business standpoint, drag it out as long as you can because this is the one thing Bellator always puts on good fights. They always have fun stuff, but everyone's talking about this. Like Joe Rogan and all, they did a fight companion for it. When was the last time they did for? I don't think they ever did Bellator before.
They did.
They did.
Fedor
they did. Yeah, but
I think they might have done one. I think they did Shamrock versus Hoyts.
Probably.
Because I remember them talking about the data.
Yeah, I just remember them saying this is the worst fight they've ever seen. And it's funny because they had. The UFC has a contributor named Robin Black. He does commentary.
He's amazing.
And he was there. It was weird. It was one of those weird podcasts where there was like 13 people in the room.
Yeah.
And they were talking to Robin Black, and Robin Black said one of the weirdest statements an MMA fan could say. He said, "I've never seen a fight that I didn't like." And he was like, "Really?" And Joe said, "You've seen a lot of fights. You've seen almost as many fights as I have." And he said, "I've never seen a fight that I didn't like." And they said, "You liked Dana Kimbo?" And he said, and he hesitated for a second, and he was like, "I like the story behind that fight." But
you're right. I think that might have been the day after the fight.
Yeah,
they had Robin Black.
Yeah, because Robin Black and Schaub was there, and Callan, and everybody was there.
Well, with Robin Black, he's really contributed something to the MMA zeitgeist.
Mm-hmm.
Have you heard of his 1, 2, 3, 4 thing?
No.
The distance parameters, I think they're called, or something like that, where like he came up with it when he was breaking down McGregor Mayweather.
Yeah, he did.
How
I remember that.
It was like at range 4 would be like you can't even land a kick.
Yeah.
At range 3, you're in the pocket.
Okay.
At range 2, you're trading hands. At range 1, you're clinching.
Mm-hmm.
So I've used that ever since as a method to break.
That is dope. No,
it's a good tool.
Yeah, it's a good tool. I never thought of that. See, this is why I like the stage that MMA's at right now, because you have all these minds in it. You got people like him and Danaher and like other people who are just looking at it differently.
It's a damn shame that Black doesn't have a commentary gig with someone.
He doesn't. He has a commentary gig with.
I mean, like a heavy hitter.
Yeah, with it's like CMMA or something like that. Some organization that.
Someone's got to scoop him up, like Bellator, or like I know Bellator's loving the Big John, Mike Goldberg combo. But if they keep growing and they need a B team, I mean that's your guy.
Well, they have a B team. They have Son is the B team when he's not fighting, and Mauro Ranello. He hops in every now and then.
Oh yeah, you're right.
They have an A and B team.
See, I forgot about Mauro and that he called the last 2 of the Grand Prix.
Mamma mia! Chicago with the knockout!
Hold on, let me try to find the voice. And the Great Emperor turns back time again. Fedor, Emelianenko. No, he always says it right. Emelianenko, Fedor.
Well, he's been around Fedor longer than anyone else. So he has to.
We all know the video of Crow Cop punking him.
No, I never seen that.
Dude, you never.
No, I gotta go to the vaults.
All you listeners need to check that out because Crow Cop, that scumbag Jeremy Millen, who was like in all of these shady deals. And Bass Rudin were the masterminds of it. It was like hazing, and afterwards. Dude, Mauro was almost gonna cry. You could tell because it was Crow Cop, and he called Crow Cop's last fight. Crow Cop's like in the middle of an interview, he's like, So I hear you say bad things about me. You don't like my kicking style.
I love that.
And Miro gets up and starts doing a little 1-2 step like he's warming up to fuck up Moro. and Moro's like, God damn it, man! I'm trying to tell him I didn't call that fight. and he's jumping up down and he's about to go in for the punch and he hugs him. He's like, I'm just kidding, my friend. And Moro's fucking grabbing his chest and Baxter's like, what, you never heard of this? This is called hazing. We're hazing you.
See, I love when fighters mess with all the other people in the business that aren't fighters.
Yeah.
B, I love it when they got that thick accent. It just makes it even worse. Because even when they say I'm just playing, you're still like, wait, are you? I don't know what's going on. What's his name? Arlovsky just did that to Ariel before his fight with Struve.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the media day. It was hilarious.
I gotta check that out.
Yeah, it was funny.
Well, yeah, how great is, I know we're getting a little off topic, but how about not Mighty Mouse, who the fuck is his rival? Smiley John.
Oh, Dawson.
Yeah, Dawson.
Yeah.
Have you seen his wife, her running gag?
No.
How she'll have John take a picture with every fighter, including Andre.
Yeah.
And she just does like the flick thing, like they got something on their shirt, the childish ass. Like,
yeah.
And so that she'll flick the nose, and then she'll run away.
See, I like stuff like that.
There's like 20 of them.
But my favorite running gag is Stipe with his wife always hanging up on her. Have you ever seen those?
Yeah.
Wait, I got something to say. He was hanging up on her. I wonder if the laugh is worth it though, because as a married guy, I know what the hell he comes home to. I know it. That's why he knocks out everybody, because he doesn't get any during that training camp.
I don't know. I think it's worth it. I've done some pretty fucked up things over the phone.
You have to. You know, it's just.
I mean, hey, you know what? It's controversial to talk about, but hey, controversy could just help our ratings.
Huh?
So, I mean, would you consider, hypothetically speaking, Raj, if you were to take an autistic kid, and I have a little sister who's autistic, so I feel the pain. So it was a friend's brother. I bring him in the car. We're sitting in the driveway with me and his brother, and I get my lady on the phone. I convince her we're alone, and I start getting her all revved up, and she starts going into it and whatnot. And I wait till she's hot and happy. I give him the phone. And I'm like, I listened. Let's say his name was Chris. I'd say, "Hi, Chris." I'd say, "Do you like that?" And he's like, "You think I should have say, do you like that bitch?" I said, "Do you like that bitch?" And he's like, "Do you like that bitch?" She's like, "Michael, you motherfucker!" So if anyone's got a problem with that, hit up our podcast.
No.
I'm gonna get slapped for that.
Listen, there's nothing wrong with that. You know, that's what all the fun is for. You gotta do a little. Listen,
hey, I consider it a community service.
Once you're in a relationship, you have to torture each other.
Yeah,
you know what? And listen, let's be fair. When a man tortures his woman in a relationship and we play pranks and they don't like it, at least one of us is laughing. Because when the woman is driving the guy crazy, no one's happy.
Yeah, so, and plus, what no one talks about is that our ladies have the nice little the ability to just walk up to us and punch us in the face.
Oh, it's funny you say that, because they literally just said my wife just said at work that they said all of her co-workers said they could see her beating me up at work. They're like, "Oh, yeah, he does MMA," and they're like, "Oh, to defend himself, right?" They're like, "No, he's been watching this before we got together." She's like, "Oh, because we can see you putting your foot in his ass."
I mean, man, I told you that I had my nose fractured so many times in fights. It was never broken until my lady did it. She went to sit on my lap, and I put my thumb up.
Oh,
and she went flying back. The knee got me.
There we go.
And now, if we're on camera, you can see that it's not supposed to bend that way.
So basically, you were training her to fight Misha Tate.
Yeah, I mean, I was training her to fight Misha Tate. She was making sure I didn't get two in the coke.
All right, so that Misha and John thing is still going on then.
Yeah.
All right, but anyway.
Sorry, guys. We didn't get to do our jerk around show.
I know, so we got to have a little fun with you guys.
Yeah, we're a bit pent up.
So we had Bellator this weekend, which we were spot on nailing everything. We nailed everything, and then we had the UFC event, which I was scared at first because the first two fights we got completely wrong.
Yeah, big time.
We had Vitor Which I didn't know why this didn't come into our mind that Vitor still doesn't know how to block a check kick. I mean, a front kick.
Because it's so fucking rare.
But still, I mean,
it was one of those.
All the writing was on the wall. We got they were both wearing the same shorts. If you look, Lyoto was wearing the same shorts Anderson wore. Lyoto and Anderson are buddies. They've been training together.
Training forever.
They both shared the same Cialis.
And allegedly,
they both learned the kick from Steven Seagal. So all the writing was on the wall. So I know we picked Vitor, but as soon as I saw the kick land and Vitor go to sleep, I'm like, you know what? I should have known that was going to happen.
Yeah, see, MMA is so random though.
I know.
That's why I give us the pass on
that. I know. I'm joking right now, but all of that stuff you see in hindsight.
Machida did not think that was going to sleep him. You could tell by the expression. Yeah. How he put his arms on his hips and shit. Yeah. He was expecting it. I can't believe they caught Vitor in the exact same fashion.
Did you see? I was on Instagram and somebody synced them up, both of them at the same. It's almost like identical.
And Vitor broke it down. Both of them. He broke them down side by side.
Oh man.
But like if you look at them, both of them, it's not like I'm trying to think of another snap kick example. Well, there's got to be one out there.
Yeah, there's a few
where like the snap kick lands and the guy goes straight back.
Yeah.
Both of Vitor's, Anderson and Machida, he gets hit with it and he
crumbles.
Yeah. He turns to the side first, and then crumbles.
Now they had a poll. I want to say so. I saw somewhere they had a poll. Which one was better?
Ooh, that's tough.
I personally say
title's on the line.
Well, not only title's on the line. The aesthetics. If we go on aesthetics wise, Lyoto's was cleaner and he actually slept. Anderson caught him and then he had to still catch him on the ground and put him out.
And Vitor had some offense prior.
Yeah, and Vitor was arguably winning the round.
And Vitor was the guy that the UFC had brought in that for years I touted as the guy to beat Anderson.
I remember leading up to that fight, you were saying that because it was right after he slept Rich Franklin. That was his welcome back fight.
Welcome back fight.
Yep.
And I think he was with Affliction beforehand.
Yep.
Maybe a little.
That's when he slept Travis Lutter, I want to say, or Travis Wolf. Somebody with over 100 wins.
Matt Lindland.
Yeah. Yep. I completely wolfed on that one.
Was that before or after he was the heavyweight champion in Strikeforce or fought for that?
So it was after because Affliction was right before he came back into the UFC.
Fucking speaking of Affliction, man, did we talk about this last episode, the Donald Trump video?
Yeah, we did.
That's so crazy.
I love it.
Yeah, I mean it fucks up everything of mine political view wise, but because he just clearly you could tell like, oh wow, he was saying at one point.
So, well, I mean, anyone who likes MMA, I'm a fan of. At times, I can't. At times, I said that, and then I just had a vision of Daniel Cormier dancing to fucking cake and chicken. So you know what? Now, I take that back. There's a few people that I will never root for. I have every single MMA fighter has my respect.
Yo, what if you're out at a club? You're with your lady, and DC walks up to you and says, "Mind if I dance for your date?" Straight out of Animal House.
I just called John Jones. I got him on speed dial. Me and John the boys. Call him right up.
Okay, no, but like really, like what would
realistically?
Number one, would you say? Do you know a trainer, John Jones? Because I would throw that out there first. That might make him mad.
I'll just pull up the gif of him crying. I have 30 of them, 30 different ones. But all honesty, I wouldn't know what I would do because I'm actually like deep into the season of The Ultimate Fighter.
You're warming up to him?
No, but I'm genuinely put myself in that shoes. I'm like, how would I feel if he picked me? And I'm just sitting there and he's teaching me stuff and I'm just like, shut up. You didn't do this against John Jones. I'm just like, grab the towel again. Make wait.
Dude, you make it sound like it's that movie with Michelle Pfeiffer where she's in the inner city.
Which one?
The Coolio song. There's a living in gangster's paradise.
No, I'm not gonna lie. My Michelle Pfeiffer catalog is not that best.
What the hell is it called? Dangerous Minds.
Yeah, no.
It's, like the most bullshit of bullshit movies. A little white lady comes in and straightens out the inner city youth. And she puts her chair backwards and sits on it.
She's hip. That's as far as a miss for me than Mackenzie Dern.
Okay. Oh, poignant.
Yeah, gotcha. But
anyway, so me DC wise, I would say DC. I'm a big fan, but and then I hit with a bottom. just to elude the whole thing.
Well, I would just catch him with the left high kick that he predicted he'd get caught with.
Yeah. I'm not as flexible as I used to be.
Definitely not as flexible. You are absolutely right. I couldn't do that on my best day.
That's why I would go with the whatever bottle is closest to just crack with.
Well, I mean, also to be fair, if he could take a shot from two shots from Rumble in two different fights.
See, that's why I'm going for foreign objects.
which I love John. When he slept DC, I had my skeptical hippo eyes on that one. So I was like, you know what?
Imagine you're all bloody and beaten after DC wrestle fucks you for 20 minutes and you crawl out of the club and Rumble Johnson's the bouncer. Oh. And it's like, that's what you're doing in your off time? And where the fuck were you 5 minutes ago?
So, hey, man, I was trying to get caught in another orange seats. Any other fighter, I got you.
You split cab. Fair right on. All right, let's get into it for real.
So, anyway, we had Vitor getting slept.
Vitor getting slept.
Worst way to go out, man.
Well, here's the thing. He's done with the UFC.
He's not going to retire.
He said, direct quote, that there's money to be made in Russia. I would love to fight.
Really? Those were his blatant words?
Direct quote.
Oh, my goodness.
Direct quote from Vitor Belfort is a lot of money in Russia. Possible Fedor fight. TRT Vitor.
TRT, a.k.a. the GOAT. The greatest fighter of all time.
With fucking Jesus written in the side of his hair.
With the mullet, the mohawk mullet.
The high wave mullet.
Yes. the spinning heel kick on Luke Rockhold mullet. Come on, man.
Fucking Herculean Vitor. Dad bod Vitor's dead, buried in the backyard.
Especially he had some new ink now too. I was like, and I was sitting there looking at him like that would look so much better on TRT Vitor.
Yeah,
like even the lion it would have the veins and everything. It looked crazy. But we had that fight. We had, unfortunately, I say it every time. I'm gonna keep saying I'm a homer. I root for Long Island to the death of me.
And I fucking stupidly agreed with you. I didn't know a lot about either guy coming in.
I knew Lineker legitimately had hands of stone. A lot of fighters have cliche nicknames like that.
Well, he's also like the third hands of stone I've seen in MMA. Mm-hmm. Let alone the fact that, have some respect, whoever gave him that nickname. Well, Roberto Duran.
Well, but I don't know if you noticed his sleeve, the tattoo on his arm is rocks on fire all the way up to his knuckles. So it's literally hands of stone.
I thought you were going to say he had a picture of Roberto on his arm.
Oh, no. I'm not fond of people who have tattoos of people they've never met.
Or no mas written.
No. If you got no mas tattooed on you and you win, then you're doing it wrong. But, the thing, I've seen Lineker fight a few times. I saw him fight Dodson. I saw him fight TJ. He had a better resume.
Yeah, Lineker definitely, I saw his potential. I've seen him fight more than I've seen Kelleher fight.
Yeah.
But maybe it was the fact that he fought such upper echelon guys.
Yeah.
That I didn't give him the respect that he deserved.
Yeah. Because every time he gets a strong test, he doesn't pass it.
And he slept him with a left hook, right?
I believe so. But even still, even as I looked it up, I'm like, I saw just the optics of it. I know that we all know the rankings don't mean anything, but it was still weird to see Lineker ranked number 6 against Kelleher, who's not ranked at all. And I was like, ooh.
But I don't know. I still feel like the fight made kind of sense.
It still makes sense. Kelleher just beat up on.
Who was it? Max Griffin?
No, he beat. That's a different weight class. He beat a legend. Why does it bother me? Another Brazilian. Oh, Renan Barão. He beat Renan Barão, so everyone was like,
questionable legend status.
He was champ.
Oh, let's not get into that.
Yeah, he was UFC champ.
Yeah,
anyway,
he also looked juiced.
Hey, listen, we're not saying that he was that he had the same body as Vitor pre-USADA. I'm just saying,
dude, he used to look like he would test positive for all the steroids. Now we know that the only thing in his blood is that PJ snake venom.
Snake bites. Yeah, stupid me. You know, go this, and I call myself an expert. I actually picked against TJ in both fights.
Even the second one?
Even the second one. I was like, fluke. In my head, I'm like, fluke.
You thought that was a fluke?
Thought it was a fluke. TJ to me is still like, and which is I don't always root for him. He's still that guy from The Ultimate Fighter that got knocked out in the finale by a forearm, not even a pit fist. Just got caught and just stayed.
It's a classic example. You're still holding on.
I hold on. I hold on to losses all the time.
Dude, that first fight was a coming out party. He debuted that new style,
yes.
that bang Ludwig, that shimmy stab.
Yeah.
How good's the camera on here? Well, I mean, what I'm talking about, people, is he'll come in with you in an orthodox stance. He'll back up, shimmy step, switch to left. And that's his version of the Dominic Cruz.
To me personally, it's a better Dominic Cruz.
Yeah, because you have the reset.
You have the reset, plus, he has more power and he has more variety. Well, I can't say that because Cruz throws a lot at you. There's just never anything on it.
And it's also, the argument goes both ways because the shimmy step could hurt you more, too, because Cruz is so fluid with it, where he doesn't need to reset.
Yeah, he doesn't.
He just dives in with the other hand.
But the thing about it is, too, that style, when you come up against someone technical, like even though he lost, Cody in the first round of their fight, boxing wise, you can't dart in like even.
And you don't have to make no excuses. We both know that if that fight was another minute long,
not even a minute long. I say another 20 seconds because he dropped them at the bell.
20 to 30. He
dropped them at the bell, and
I feel like TJ would have had enough to recover a little, then get hurt again.
Probably, but
anyway.
Yeah. So anyway,
after Kelleher, who was up, Dern.
Dern, who 7 pounds, man.
I mean, she
7 pounds. This is not the Will Smith movie. She legitimately weighed in 7 pounds overweight.
We said it already that she was fighting at flyweight.
Yeah, it was a flyweight versus strawweight.
It was an open weight fight.
And to me personally, I think she did it on purpose.
I know you were telling me before.
She literally posted a picture on Instagram the day before weigh-ins, holding up a scale, not standing on the scale, just holding up like, "Hey, I have my scale here."
And she had wet hair or something.
Yeah, like she was just jogging or something. Like
Dad just got out of the shower.
Or something, just not caring.
Yeah, I mean,
like it's just funny, man. It's just because I watched the pre-fight show and like they were talking and stuff like the day before, and they said because she missed weight. No, it was the weigh-ins. They said because she missed weight. I think Tyron Woodley was like, I think Amanda Cooper's angry now and she's gonna fight with a chip on her shoulder. And to me, I literally saw that. And I'm like, oh no, this is when you put money down that she absolutely wins because her base is grappling, and now you have 7 pounds, which is we all know 7 pounds on the scale isn't 7 pounds. It's probably 10 to 15 pounds because
the next day,
you hydrate up and everything. So.
Which she already has a jump on.
And this chick, Amanda Cooper, had 3 submission losses already. It was just, the writing was on the wall for this
the shocker is that she clipped her.
Yeah, but when you got that much weight on her.
No, but you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know, the shot.
That a jiu-jitsu fighter was able to land.
Especially her last fight where her hands looked like Damian Maya's sisters.
Yeah, and that was a grind fest.
Yeah, and it was just Hug City.
Yeah, I mean, and that's why Uncle Joey's joke was so funny. But her asshole must taste like that.
He said her ass must smell delicious right now.
Okay, smell, yeah.
And it's so funny that the MMA community got mad at him for that.
You can't get mad at that shit, man.
Uncle Joey can say whatever he wants.
Yeah.
Like, literally say whatever he wants. There's no filter on that.
He can say the N-word.
He can say that Gustafson beat John Jones. He can say all the stuff that we all know isn't true. But I still love Uncle Joey though.
Yeah. So what was the next one on the card?
Oh, then we had I actually didn't watch this fight. It was the co-main. It was Kelvin versus Jacare. And I shit you not, this man texted me, and I quote, "Holy shit, Kelvin won a split decision against a Brazilian in Brazil."
No home cooking here.
None. I mean, I didn't see the fight. I hate to read comments before I watch a fight, but I did anyway. And as always, 50-50. Oh, robbery. Oh, fair decision. Should have been a draw. So all that. So I didn't see the fight. How did you score it, though?
I honestly, I had to run out of my house because my old man wanted me to take care of something real quick, so I had to dart out. Oh no, I'm thinking of the wrong day. My fiance needed me to take care of something real quick, so I had to take her to the bank and make sure the money was in the right account to pay for fucking Netflix and shit like that. So I got back. I caught the tail end of round 1 and the rest of the fight. It felt really split, dude. It was. I wouldn't call it a robbery.
That's what a lot of people say. I saw the general consensus is saying whoever got the nod, they would have been okay with.
Yeah, because Gastelum, remember how we broke it down that if Kelvin gets past the pocket and lands, he was doing that.
I saw the clip of him he put him on his ass. I saw one shot. I don't know if it was in the second or third round.
That's how he did it. He got past the distance and clipped him. Because I didn't realize until
experts, ladies and gentlemen.
I didn't realize until the weigh-ins that Jacare had such a reach advantage.
Oh, Kelvin is a true welterweight. There's no when it comes to size, there's no reason why he's at 185.
Yeah.
And I noticed that when he fought Weidman, and I was like, oh, Weidman's a light heavyweight, and Kelvin's a welterweight. This is not good.
Yeah.
And he still was able to drop him.
He really shone through.
Yeah.
But he still, like we said, he was able to get past not just the arms, but he got to the chin
and more importantly, he got past the submissions, he got past the striking, and he got past the judging.
He was never really in that much danger in the grappling.
Now where do we go? Because he said he's willing to sit out for a title shot.
Yeah, he specifically said that he wants Whitaker Yoel winner.
I want Kelvin Yoel so bad. I want Kelvin Yoel so bad.
It's so fun that it feels like that it was either discussed or nearly happened already.
No, it definitely never materialized.
No, I know it didn't materialize, but I feel like at some point it was a strong rumor.
Well, the rumor is that Yoel's camp reached out to fight him and they turned it down.
With which time?
When
Whitaker got hurt.
It was after his loss to Weidman. Yoel reached out to fight him.
Okay, after Kelvin lost to Weidman.
Yeah.
Okay. It would make you're right. That would make sense since he had the win over Weidman.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, we got to wait and see what happens with Whitaker and Yoel.
You know what? Another dynamic a lot of people aren't talking about is too, which is interesting. It's so funny how it works. The champion right now of the middleweight division, Robert Whitaker, was a welterweight. He won the Ultimate Fighter at welterweight. And what changed him was him getting knocked out by Wonderboy. People forget Wonderboy knocked him out in the first round, and then he packed on some pounds and went on an amazing run.
And like we talked about before, the Jacare win was just coming out.
Oh, I thought as soon as he got up from Jacare, I think Jacare had him in side control too. Or even had his back, something. And he got up.
Him in a bad position.
Yeah, he had him in a bad position where I'm like, oh, this is over. And then he got up and I was like, oh, and he's for real.
He let his hands go.
And he let his hands go and a head kick. When you're throwing head kicks and combos like that on someone like Jacare.
And it was like 3 punches into one of the combinations, one of the initial combinations. Yeah, Jacare already befuddled and not really there.
Yeah, Jacare, and it was funny because it was right. Jacare was beefing with the UFC, and he signed a new contract, like an 8-fight extension, like right before, and he's talking about how Bisping's ducking him, and he's the number 1 contender, and then
because that was all the fallout.
Yeah,
the Yoel fight with Jacare.
Yeah,
but either way, it's funny you mentioned that Whitaker was a welterweight, but I really feel like if Whitaker beats Yoel, again, I know we don't want it to happen, but I don't want it to happen. If he does, Gastelum Whitaker, Gastelum bet the farm.
Really?
I'm saying bet the farm.
Really? You're putting it on the.
Yeah, I think Kelvin just shocks everybody and TKOs Rob.
Well, I told you before off air, back when his season of The Ultimate Fighter, his talent was overshadowed by Uriah Hall. We all saw Uriah Hall. We're like, oh, this guy at the time. This is when Anderson Silva was champ.
And Kelvin beats him.
Yeah. We all said, oh, Uriah's the new Anderson Silva. Look at all the stuff he's doing, this and that. But there was a quote that Chael said. It was the episode that they had Rhonda come by, and he pulled her to the side after she taught them the drills or whatever, and they were just talking, and he pointed to Kelvin. He said, "You see that kid right there?" He said, "That I picked that kid last," and he said, "Every single day he gets better, and not just a little better." He said, "Exponentially better," and he said he could win this whole show. And at that point, I was like, "That's Chael being Chael. Chael says crazy stuff." Chael said Nogueira tried to feed a carrot to a bus. I'm like, he's just saying crazy stuff. And then he goes up there and he beats Uriah Hall. And I'm like, oh. Then he goes up there and he submits Ellenberger. And then he knocks out Vitor. Then he knocks out Kennedy. And I'm like, this guy. And that Chael saying that plays in my head every time. I'm like, every time I see him, he gets better. Up
until the Weidman fight, which was at Nassau Coliseum.
Yeah, so which we should have been there.
Yeah, we should have been. But, who knows, like, how much played into Weidman of, like, okay, I got to get a win in New York.
Weidman was, we just said it before with TJ, 5 more seconds in that fight, Weidman's going out because he got clipped, was put on his ass, then the bell ring. Weidman was on a 3-fight losing streak, and he's fighting in his home. Like, he's fighting on it's not just his hometown. Like, it's where he lives. It's his whole shtick.
It's a couple blocks away.
Yeah, literally. He walked there. He said he used to go there and watch hockey games as a kid and stuff. So, I mean, I would love to see them run it back.
That's so weird to think about because I grew up in Westbury, and that's right next to Uniondale, too.
Yeah, that is weird. It's weird that it's Long Island.
Yeah, though.
I mean, used to like certain parts.
I never thought they would have a UFC event at the Nassau Coliseum.
I prayed that it would happen, and then the day it happens, the day after my birthday, I miss it.
No, but like it felt like the venue wasn't big enough.
It just didn't. Well, you know what?
It was in the middle of nowhere.
I thought that, but then I have a friend who's huge in the WWE, and he's like, and I said that to him. I was like, yeah, it's not big enough. He said, bro, The Rock has fought there, and I was like, oh.
Oh, well,
was wrestled there.
Well, dude, I saw Rock versus Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam 2002 there.
Oh.
So, like, I mean, that is a good point. But so I felt like the UFC was, like, too highbrow to go, even though, like, it is kind of like a, I guess you would say, higher economic area for bumble bucks. Yeah. But I felt like we're talking about a time period where it wasn't illegal interstate yet.
Yeah, exactly.
So I figured like MSG.
Yeah, but we all said MSG, and we all said a couple of shows upstate. That was the consensus. And that was before the Barclays Center and all of that.
Well, and I know you don't like other sports other than football, but have you heard the news about like the Islanders and shit?
Well, how they left and they went to the Barclays Center.
Well, but there's more to it. They left the Coliseum, they went to the Barclays Center. And now they're getting out of the contract with the Barclays Center.
To come back?
Not to the Nassau Coliseum. They're building another arena.
Where?
Right next to Belmont Racetrack.
Oh, Jesus.
And imagine that shit. That's like a 40-minute drive for us to go see what
I'll make it in 10.
Yeah, that'd be amazing, dude.
Imagine that. Plus, the UFC likes to, whenever there's an event, they like to give the home crowd an advantage. A New York card, they put a lot of New Yorkers. A Brazil card, they put a lot of Brazilians. But in that card, the Madison Square, the Nassau Coliseum card had all Long Island fighters on it. So they would do it again for that one.
See, that's what I'm saying. If I think they want to call it, it escapes me. Have you ever been to Belmont?
I've drive through it.
It's like off this street. It's called like Evanet or something like that. I think they might be trying to call it the Evanet Sports Arena or something like that.
You can call it. If I get to see.
Point being is what I'm saying. Like we have such a rise in Long Island talent right now.
Listen,
let's run the list real quick.
We got Kelleher. Who he's beaten tough guys in the UFC. We've got Dennis Bermudez, one of my favorite Long Island fighters. Ryan LaFleur. Al.
Raging Al.
Aljamain Sterling. We have a guy Marib, even though he lost. But Chris Weidman.
Would you count Wonder Boy since he basically lives with Weidman and shit now?
I wouldn't say that, but I would say Gene Vellante. He's also he's a Strikeforce vet too. That's more than enough. That's 10 off, and that's just us riffing. If I sat down and picked, you can go deeper than that. And all of these guys are main card. No these are all main card,
tenors.
top 10, top 15, fought legends.
So if one of them can grab even an interim title, they would definitely show up.
Absolutely. If I know it was a long shot, if Al pulled the belt that night in the Barclay, he's already told Dana to eat his ass a few times. I can absolutely see him say, "Listen, I have a house opening in about 20 minutes down the road. Hurry up. Put this in Nassau Coliseum. Put this in the new Belmore Center. I'm only defending my belt on Long Island, and then I'm selling 3 houses afterwards." So, I mean, to make a long story short, why not put the stadium out here? And I promise you, Long Islanders will fill it up.
It's gonna happen. They're just they're working on breaking ground, so I think it'll be operational in the next 2-3 years.
Yeah.
I mean, what do you think happens to Barclays then?
There's still going to be fights.
They still have a basketball team.
They still. One of the worst. I don't watch basketball. The Nets there, but it's Jay-Z Stadium, so he does a lot of concerts there. So there's a lot of boxing matches actually. You know what?
Yeah.
Danny Garcia fights there like every week. So
yeah, I remember. That's like those weird Saturday morning fights.
Yeah,
catch on like MSG.
Yeah, or like channel 147.
Yeah,
like one channel.
Those would be at the Barclays.
Yeah, so
tiny.
It'll always be. It'll never go under. Plus, the UFC is still dead set on having events there. They had 2 title fights that I don't want to sound like this, absolutely mean nothing, have happened at the Barclays Center. We've got Khabib versus Al, and before that we had Durand versus Holly. Both at the Barclays Center.
And there was so much at the Durand one. There was so much fuckery.
Yeah.
But let's round out the UFC card before I take a quick bathroom break.
So we had what we both said last episode was our lock of the night. Amanda Nunes putting a beating on Raquel Pennington.
We would have been spot on if something didn't happen.
Yeah, but her
that's what I'm saying.
Her corner.
If her corner didn't, it would have been. Wouldn't that been? Would that not have been considered TKO in the 4th if she threw in the towel?
Yeah. If she just quit on the stool,
we would have been right.
Yeah. I mean, we both picked. Regardless, we both picked 4, but we did say late because it was an accumulation. It was a beatdown.
I said 3 or 4. You said 4.
I said 4. I said hard 4. But
so basically, to paint the picture, what happens is Amanda just clearly is winning the fight.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you could have made an argument. I wouldn't that Raquel's still round 2.
Yeah, so I saw somewhere because I didn't see the fight. I just read the round by round. I saw somewhere that she landed a takedown.
She got a takedown
and controlled her for like a minute or so.
She ended 2 on top.
Okay.
So I mean, maybe you could give it to her, but
we get pity rounds sometimes.
But 1, 3, and 4 were all
domination.
Amanda.
Yeah.
And 4 was a 10-8 easy.
Yeah. So.
But so in between 4 and 5, I believe the ref was there in the corner listening, and she told her corner right away, and it was just lucky because you know how they alternate which corner they go to. It was just lucky the camera was on her, and she said, "I'm done."
Not only did she say I'm done, because I didn't see the fight, but I saw this clip. She's sitting on the stool, head down, saying I'm done, and they're like, "No, you could do this." And then
she's standing.
No, there's a clip of her. She's sitting down, and she said, "I'm done," and then she stands up and turns around and puts her hands on the cage and says, "Guys, I'm done."
Yeah.
So she said it twice, and then the ref gets in the corner, and like you said, I didn't hear the corner, but
the ref got there just late enough not to hear it.
Yeah.
And the corner. And like I said, it'd be one thing if they're like, "You're not done. You're better than this.
Mm-hmm.
We trained for this." I know that sometimes in the gym you feel this way.
You see all the champs do that. I've seen in the Diaz fight when Cowboy has his head down going into the 3rd round, and you see Greg Jackson, "Put your head up. You can do all the motivational stuff, not the hey."
And, they did this. They went the passive aggressive route of the guy pauses for what feels like forever and then goes on to say
they talk.
Are you sure?
They talked to her like she was walking the dog. Like, "Oh, you're not done. Go ahead, go back to the tree. Go ahead, go ahead, go pee a little bit more. You're not done yet."
Am I wrong, or did she not did he not literally go?
No,
no, you're not done. Are you sure?
Well, her fiance Tisha Torres, who's in her corner, and I think is one of her coaches.
I didn't see her.
Well, they have they have the coaches in the ring and then the coaches like behind the gate.
Yeah, no, I was looking for her,
but she released like some lengthy thing talking about how her wife is a warrior and she's seen her battle through anything and she knows her mind better than anyone else and she loves her, would never put her in harm's way. I don't know.
Well, I told you that when I was watching the fight with my lady,
mm-hmm.
I pointed it out to her and I said, mark my words, if she gets marked up even a little bit in the fifth now that they're making her do this, there's going to be so much backlash. And what happens?
Yeah, her nose is shattered, and blood all over the canvas.
She had a cut from earlier in the fight, too. Yeah. On top of the nose, she had a cut from a high knee she ate in the fourth round. So right between the eyes, she was cut open.
Yeah.
So I think Amanda got somewhat back control, was it?
I didn't see it.
And
I just saw the actual finish and her just.
Yeah,
it wasn't even hard shots. It was enough to. It was basically mercy shots.
I know, but they were also, she aimed them enough to make the blood splatter.
Yeah.
And the second I saw the blood, I once again I turned to her and I said, "This is gonna be some shit." Now you're gonna hear everyone.
I didn't see the MMA hour. I didn't catch what a lot of other people are talking about. So I didn't hear all the because Ariel jumps on this stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, but even Amanda released a statement. She's saying it's such a shame that her corner made her go out there and for that fifth round. I'm just like, ugh.
It's a bit fucked up.
It's bad. And you know what? I don't want to sound like this. I don't. Not sexist, but it's even worse that it's happened in a woman's fight. It's even worse.
See, this is a weird thing with MMA where if you piss me off in regular life, I can be the most sexist, racist.
Oh, absolutely.
Because it's not about being like, oh, he's different or she's a woman.
Mm-hmm.
It's about, okay, I'm mad, so I want to get under this.
Yeah, exactly.
So
I do the whole time.
So like, hey, Peter, that sort of thing. It's not because you're Mexican. It's because, hey, you cut me off. But point being is that MMA is this beautiful thing. We talked about it in our first episode, that where it's just this weird thing where it's just like race and women, like sexuality, doesn't come into play unless it's like a Fallon Fox issue. That's a different thing.
That's a whole nother.
That's just fucked up.
But
I wasn't thinking. I'm sorry. I wasn't.
Yeah. No. Go ahead.
But it's just in my head. It's like, you know what? I get that they're women, but they want equality.
Mm-hmm.
I'm all for equality, and not that bullshit feminist equality where they really want to be better than us. So
my thing is this, because I love MMA. But I have the majority of my family doesn't like MMA. The majority of the people I know, besides the people I train with or the people that I talk to about MMA, don't like MMA.
Yeah, you said your mom.
Yeah, my mom and my grandmother, and they're like, "Oh, you're watching this," but the wife watches it because it's on so much in our house that she just has to deal with it. I deal with Grey's Anatomy. She deals with MMA. It's give and take. It's marriage. But anyway,
shit's still on the air.
55 seasons. It's been going on longer than the Ultimate Fighter. Believe me. But whenever I see something bad happen in MMA, the first thing I think of is I hope the media doesn't get a hold of this, because when a lot of people, they just saw MMA is illegal in New York. Oh, I was watching the court cases and I was watching the depositions and I was hearing the bullshit that they were saying, like the crazy batshit, the stuff that was coming out of their mouth. We had politicians, literally people who were elected and put into office, saying, "Oh, everyone who does MMA is a rapist because they have that much aggression," or there's no gloves in MMA, so it can't be a legal sport. There's no rounds in it, and this is in 2014. This is 2014, 2015.
Power to you to put it up with it for that long, because I can tell you honestly, the last 5 years before it was legal, I stopped listening. Depositions.
But I was listening, but when you hear the stuff that they were saying, I was like, there's no way that these people live in the present, that this is the stuff that they think. So now when I see bad stuff happen, I'm just like, oh, I hope the media doesn't grab this, because they're just waiting to throw MMA under the bus. So when I see her corner forcing her to go out there, and I see her getting bloodied and her saying I don't want to do it, and her nose is shattered. She has a gash. Her fiance's or wife is in the corner, and she's like, "No, go ahead, go do it." And she's face down on the mat, and I'm just like, oh, I just hope
I gotta
the
look
media doesn't just jump on this.
I gotta look into it more and see what Tisha's video is, because I didn't catch any of that. Like I told you, I didn't even see her because I was so fixated on like the look in Raquel's eyes of just
and not to sound like this, I don't want to write a fighter off, but we watched enough MMA. We know when a fighter's done. Before she said that, when she sat down on the stool, you knew she was done.
It did, and we both knew coming into this fight that she would have had caught her with something to win this.
And she shouldn't have that.
Because her style, her last fight was also Miesha Tate 2 years back.
2 years. And that's another thing.
She's a grinder. And you can't grind Nunes.
You can't grind Nunes, and you can't fight her off the layoff. Dominic Cruz said that every fighter, which is one of those weird bullshit stats, but it's still a stat. So every fighter that's fought Amanda Nunes off of a layoff got finished. Like every time someone had more than a year layoff and they fought Amanda Nunes, they got finished.
Well, who did Kat fight before?
Was that a year off?
I feel like she had some time off.
Oh. And you're right. Mikey mentioned that.
Because I think the fight before Amanda was Miesha.
You're right.
And that was at least a couple months.
Yeah, no, because it was because they were supposed to do the Ultimate Fighter, and then she tore her ACL.
Yeah. So,
I gotta check the math on that one.
We just checked you up, Dom.
The Dominator.
Dom, who can't take, he can't even handle losing at go-kart racing, is gonna show up at our houses, and we're gonna.
Funny story about Dominic Cruz. I'm not going to name names. There was a gentleman that
You just did.
Well, no. There's a gentleman that I used to train with. Not going to name his name. He told me he went to a fight. I forgot where it was. It was in Jersey. And him and his boys partying, They were a rowdy bunch. Hockey players, all this and that. Rowdy bunch, getting hectic, jumping up and down. They're in their hotel. Who's in the hotel? Dominic Cruz is in the hotel. Who is above them, directly above them in their room? Dominic Cruz is directly above them. Who calls the cops on them and calls security on them? Dominic Cruz, saying that they are distracting him. Meanwhile, Dominic Cruz didn't have a fight that night. He was just there. Maybe, I don't know, maybe I have to check. I have to talk to my boy and see maybe he was cornering somebody. But a little fun story.
Well, wasn't he having some foot issues back in the day where he had to wear compression socks?
Yeah.
So maybe he went full blown the old man.
He had the broom. Hey, cut that racket.
You fucking kids.
He was in his bathroom. He's like, oh, damn it.
Watching the Weather Channel.
Probably.
But check it out. I gotta take a leak out of my MMA Genius dick real quick.
All right, we'll be right back.
We're back.
So, where did we leave off?
We were wrapping up Bellator 199 and UFC 224.
Yep.
Now we can move into the news.
Mm-hmm. So, first bit of news, which got everyone's attention this past week. The UFC has cut ties with one of their future champions. Literally, this man could have been champion. Yair Rodriguez.
Yair Pantera Rodriguez.
Yeah.
Can't tell to this day if it's a good nickname or not.
I don't know what it means. Doesn't it mean like Panther and like?
I can't say it without thinking of the band.
No, okay. I didn't even know it was a band.
Oh yeah, you're black.
Yeah.
And I mean, Cowboys from Hell.
I know Smashing Pumpkins. that
doesn't help.
All right. Yeah. I didn't get down with that. But anyway, I digress.
No, we'll get back to that at some point because that's not right.
Well, speaking of not right, you can't. Here's my thing. I understand they were frustrated with him. I understand, but the man just took his first loss in the UFC to a former champ, and
Frankie Edgar.
Yeah, Frankie Edgar just beat his face in. He was off a year, and he said he turned down 2 fights. He turned down a fight with Ricardo Lamas, and then he turned down the Zabit fight. I don't want to.
That's not grounds for dismissal.
Especially when Dana just said, I offer Nate Diaz a fight every week. He said that. He said, I'm offering Nate a fight every week, and he's turned it down every week. You can't say that. Granted, the star power is completely different.
People are going to say that, like, well, it's Nate Diaz.
Exactly.
And he's proven from the Connor fight.
And he's a draw, and he's on.
And all the casuals know him as a guy who beat Connor.
Listen, this is how I gauge it. When my grandfather knows a fighter, then you've made it. And my grandfather said, "Oh, that Nate Diaz, he beat that Irish guy, McGregor."
If Mooka's grandfather knows a fighter's name,
yes,
they're probably made $1 million
easily
in a fight.
Easily. So I'm not saying that they're the same level. I'm just saying the optics of it. It looks bad when you say, "Oh yeah, this guy is turned down fights left and right." And I love what Brandon Schaub said. He's like, "I wonder why the UFC doesn't have any big stars right now." You know. So I wonder why, when you have a boss that wants to cut a guy for, trying to make the right career decisions. You got a guy who's the flashiest guy we've seen in a while. He's bilingual, which is big. Believe it or not, you need that as a crossover. Granted, Connor's not bilingual, but he's multicultural, so it's different. You get the support because, I don't want to sound like this, a lot of other countries support their fighters more than we do.
Oh yeah, nationalism is the world's racism.
Yes, it is.
It is what it is.
And if you disagree with us, next time you want to watch the Olympics, I dare you to root for a team that's not your country. I dare you to do it. You can't. You just can't do it. So
or even just tell us like what the medal total is without looking at the stats for, say, Belize or
exactly,
or Jamaica.
Exactly. So you got rid of a guy. Mexico's not a big MMA market yet. I mean, we have Kane, who hasn't fought since '89, and we got Kelvin. But other than that, you're starving for stars. This guy's young, flashy, looks good.
He was perfect, and then the Edgar fight happens. And I don't know how much stock you could take away from him. I mean,
he couldn't.
He still did he did well considering the fact that he
did good. No, he did good in the first round. Well, like the first minute, he landed a couple good kicks. And
so it was the perfect matchup for Frankie.
It was
where it's a guy who's perfectly comfortable with moving his feet. Mm-hmm. It's double leg city. Yeah, and that's what happened. He got pounded out from that position. He was too green for that much of a savvy
that was think about that. This was a man who fought for the belt in two different divisions multiple times.
And I know we've talked about it the past couple episodes, not last week, but just to mention it here, Yair is the perfect blue chip prospect.
Yes, absolutely.
I mean, even though he turned down a fight with the other penultimate blue chip prospect, Zabib.
Yeah.
I mean, that would have been a hell of a fight.
That would have been that would have been a fight that happens right now that's amazing, and then happens 5 years from now and is equally as amazing. Because
if not more so.
Or if not more so, because they're still not even where they're supposed to be.
Yeah, and I think Yair recognized the fact that this guy, in passing in the fight, he recognized that, okay, this guy's good everywhere, and he can take me down at will.
And he trains with the guy that just stomped a mud hole in my face.
Yes. So they got the blueprint on me, and this guy can be flashy, and then if I even get him in a little trouble, he can put me on the back.
Exactly.
I mean, Yair, it's not even like he could...
And then Dana White came out and said, he said he wouldn't take a fight with Lamas, and he wouldn't take a fight with Zabit, and, Zabit's a guy ranked lower than him. I was like, whoa, don't do that, Dana. Don't say he's ranked lower than him, because we all the hardcore MMA fans, the people who are in the know, we know that number next to his name doesn't mean shit.
Yeah.
And he is equally, if not more or as skilled as Yair is. So don't say he's ranked lower than him.
The only time that number next to a name matters is when it's not really a number, when it's C for champion.
Exactly.
Or if it's number 1 or 2, honestly.
Exactly.
Those are the only times where even 2 it gets sketchy.
Exactly. So
what do you think Yair's thinking right now? Do you think he regrets not taking the Lamas fight more so than the Zabib fight?
Well, from what I understood, his eye was messed up after the fight. He had a huge hematoma, so they offered him the Yair fight. The Lamas fight. He said he wasn't ready. He had to get healthy, and so which is understandable, and especially since it's almost the same style.
Do we have a reason for the Zabib pass?
No, all he did was the UFC posted Zabit versus Yair 227, and then he tweeted that link and said hashtag fake news. And then they deleted that. They deleted that post, and then Dana just went on his tirade. So I don't listen. I mean, me personally, I know we have to be macho. We're fighters and this and that, and we have to say, oh.
I mean, if you were Yair's trainer, like not to step on you, man,
yeah,
but like you wouldn't want that as your comeback fight.
If 100%, if I'm his coach, I'm saying, you know what? That's not the fight we want.
Yeah.
A, he doesn't have a name. B,
a year off.
A year off. C, you just got beat by his training partner. So now he can do what he did to you, or he could do what you do to you. He can knock you out as flashy as you are.
Or three other things.
Or three other things. He could win it almost any other way. Not saying that he would have won, who knows. I mean, but I'm just saying.
Zabit is the only guy right now you can truly say is like a 5-tool fighter that's a prospect.
Absolutely. He looks good everywhere.
Yeah, everywhere. I mean, I know we're dealing with a small sample size.
But I mean, only 3 fights in the UFC?
And his most impressive one was with a broken hand.
And I'm gonna say it again. That throw he landed, oh my goodness.
Yeah, it was beautiful.
And he did it in combination. When you see stuff like a lot of people say, "Oh, this guy, he's a little flashy." When you see the flashy, then you see the technique.
Yeah, he can back up the flash.
It's all there, man. And then he's training with world champions. He's training with Edson Barboza. He's training with Eddie Alvarez. He's training with Frankie Edgar and Mark Henry. You know, it's just I get mad at people when they turn down fights. I am not mad at Yair for turning down that fight.
So Yair is a featherweight, right?
Yep, 145.
His whole career.
Whole career. He won the Ultimate Fighter at featherweight.
What's the featherweight situation over in Bellator?
What's the champ's name? Oh, it's gonna bother me. So the little Pitbull brother. Patricky Pitbull.
Fieri.
Yeah. I say, and I might sound crazy. I say Yair walks through him.
Maybe.
I say Yair walk, or if he doesn't, he has a tune-up fight. He could fight Pat Curran over there and then fight him.
I mean, my only issue is going to be that Pitbull's got some wrestling.
Yeah, it does.
So, you know.
But even still, you know, the kid's younger than us. He's what, 24, 25?
He's young.
He's younger than we are. So, I mean.
But Yair's got great things on the horizon, whether it be Bellator or
Ryzen.
I wouldn't go as far as to say Ryzen.
He could go to a World Series of Fighting. He's got the world at his oyster.
Yeah, what a PFL?
PFL. Oh yeah, it's not World Series of Fighting anymore. Such a horrible name. Go back to World Series of Fighting.
I mean, has anything happened out of there yet? Like, have they had an event yet?
No, they're doing that $1 million tournament.
Oh yeah. I keep hearing buzz about that shit.
It's a couple of fighters in it.
Yeah, but like, who is it? It's like.
Well, it's in every weight class.
I know, but like, is Paul Harris in the mix?
No, they cut ties with Paul Harris a long time ago.
Where's he at now?
He's in some Russian organization.
Oh, okay, he's like an RCC or something.
Yeah, he's over there.
Okay. Well, and there was also talk of the other Russian org that's run by that oligarch. That guy who's tied with Putin that Werdum went over to.
Oh, okay.
To do like the photo.
Yeah.
And all that shit. It's called. I want to say it's called ABD.
Okay. Yeah. That sounds very familiar.
Maybe them. I mean, because there's been rumors of all sorts of guys going over there.
Why not?
I mean, there's a good chance Gabriel Gonzalez's next fight will be there.
against Yair, and he's gonna get knocked out. Here's my thing. You know, you have to notice. Dana's in the business of marketing fights. We know that he's the promoter. Dana takes stuff too personal. I love Dana White, and I'm one of the few MMA fans that oddly agrees with him most of the time when he has a tip. A lot of people like to bash Dana. I don't bash Dana, but my only criticism is, you know, he bashes fighters and then realizes he has to eventually turn around and promote them. You could have spun this in a way to save face with the kid and then pushed him out there. He's still young, but now Who knows? What if he goes to Bellator, has a whole bunch of success, is a huge star over there, sleeping everybody, and the UFC wants him back? And he's like, suck my dick. I'm not going back.
Well, outside of the UFC wanting him back, the Ryan Bader effect.
Yeah. He goes there and he's a champion. He moves up a weight class. He's a double champion.
Like we said, Bader being in the Final Four could very well be a two-weight champ at the end of the year. So, I mean, at that point, I think it'd be a fair assessment to say the UFC, especially with the dying heavyweight division. Look at David
Branch. David Branch was in the UFC, was fighting on prelims. Literally, they didn't even televise his fights. Leaves, goes over to World Series of Fighting, becomes a dual champ, comes back.
Goes to the UFC. Gives Rockhold a little bit of help.
Wins the first round against Rockhold, and then sleeps Santos, who is tied for the most knockouts in middleweight division.
Branch?
Yeah. No, not Branch. Santos. So he slept. So he didn't come back and beat just a nobody.
Yeah, he slept the guy who was a little green.
Yeah,
but still
is.
He's on his way up.
Exactly.
Order.
Well, he's there. You know, it's funny. We talked about stats. He has the stat for the most knockouts in middleweight division. You know who's number 2? Well, no. He's tied. He has 13 finishes. Huh?
Are they booked, the person?
They just fought this weekend. At middleweight.
I shouldn't have been texting while I was doing that.
He just got caught by the front kick.
Oh, shit, really?
He's tied. That guy Santos that Branch just knocked out is tied with Vitor.
Wow.
Yeah. But anyway.
And that also brings up the other notion that of weird streaks of UFC Chile. Hopefully that'll sort out. Unless it was moved. I think it might have been moved.
What?
The Shogun fight?
Yeah, that was moved.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, they clarified it, but they didn't. So Volkan, who's fighting Shogun, he's awaiting trial in Florida for a fight in a bar.
Aggravated assault, yeah.
So they wouldn't let him fly to Chile for the fight.
Okay.
But they moved his fight to Germany. So he's fighting Shogun in Germany now.
Is he German?
He is, but he lives in Florida.
He might have dual citizenship.
I guess.
And that might be different, you know.
But what if he just goes to Germany, fights there, and then just says, screw America, I'm not even going to show up to court.
Well, I'm pretty sure you can't pull that shit with Germany because of the whole fallout from World War II, why Germany doesn't have their own army. I'm pretty sure they're pretty pro-extradite.
Yeah, probably.
But anyway, I mean, it makes all the sense in the world. Didn't he fight on the last Hamburg card?
Yeah, he did.
So, I mean...
Yeah. Well, it was just weird, though, that they wouldn't let him fly to...
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
What's even weirder is that they're going back to the same exact city in Germany, back to back.
Yeah, why not?
I know, but I feel like, why not Berlin?
Well, is there a stadium or a spot in Berlin?
Definitely.
Yeah, you're right.
I mean, it's the capital of the country.
You're right.
And I mean, there's so much rich history there that they can use the fighters.
You've got plenty of German fighters.
Imagine having your main eventers, if it was a big fight, and you, just for argument's sake, okay, say it's Jones versus.
He said Jones that way. I automatically agree.
Maybe. Say it's Jones versus I always fuck them. It's Volkan. Right?
Volkan. Yeah.
It's Jones Volkan. Why don't you have them stand up on opposite ends of where the Berlin Wall was, where they still have those things where you look over the wall?
You, sir.
And they just knuckle up?
You, sir. Need a job in marketing.
That'd be a dope picture.
UFC. Somebody book that right now.
Imagine that shit.
Somebody do that.
Even better, it may go over the heads of some people, but since the wall was representative of Russia and the US, you could do that shit for Stipe versus Volkov.
Well, Steve, you can't because his name is Stipe Miocic. The common person is going to say,
if he's holding an American flag behind him.
Yeah, no, you're right. Which is weird because what's his name was saying it? Joey Diaz, though? I don't know. Joey Diaz could have been high as a kite. But Stipe in in Croatian is Steven. So his name is actually Steven.
I wouldn't be surprised. I thought it was like something else, like it meant some something like hard or some shit like that. But anyway,
who knows? I don't know. It's Nate. Like I said, Joey Diaz.
But, tell me that would not be awesome. Like, you remember how McGregor and Aldo had that long tour?
Oh, that was too long.
So no, but say Stipe and Volkov happens. Mm-hmm. How could that not be a stop if they stop in Germany? Have them go at the opposite end.
Listen, I agree.
One with the Russian flag,
and that's what you need to sell a fight too, because they're both not big talkers. You need stuff like that. Listen,
and fuck it. You don't even get the Russian flag. You get the old Soviet iron flag.
Yes, the old cold steel.
You get the ire up and everyone who's all about like, oh, the Russians hacked in the election and all that shit. That's how you get everyone interested. Yeah. I just broke the fourth wall, people.
Listen,
I just gave you the blueprint. That's how you do it.
And what's it called? And we could even book it next to D-Day. Do all that. Listen, whatever that weekend is, let's do it.
D-Day. Why D-Day? What did it say? I was going to say.
Because they're dropping bombs.
No, I was about to say that like we'd have to wait for some like French fighter like Czech Congo to be fighting.
Hey, now that he's back.
Yeah. Bellator is going to send Congo over the Normandy to stand on the beach with his fist up saying, I'm ready for anyone.
With his African tattoo on his shoulder that you can't see.
Yeah.
I used to love playing with him in the video game because they made him so much lighter and you could see his tattoos. And I'm like, oh, Czech Congo's tattoos.
That's not Czech Congo.
Oh, come on.
He's like 3 shades off from Wesley Snipes.
No. Czech Congo and Akon are absolutely fighting right now for the blackest nigga alive title. I don't know who's gonna get it, but
what was the second name?
Huh?
What was the second name?
Akon.
Okay,
Akon and Czech Congo. I don't know.
Why Akon?
Akon is darker than the Ace of Spades. Akon looks like what's underneath the bed.
See, I don't know, man. Maybe I never got a good look at him because
it's so dark out. You couldn't see him.
And he wasn't smiling. And all I could hear is conflict music.
I wonder if Czech Congo's ever walked out to Akon now. Sounds like a conflict of interest.
Yeah, there's one. Do you remember EA Boxing back in the day? How they had that awesome Akon song on it?
Which one?
I know you like my style. Like that one?
No.
I
wasn't too fond of Akon either.
No, there's a bunch of other people on it too.
Yeah.
Bro. It's old enough that they dropped Anna Nicole Smith's name when she was still alive.
Oh, hey, before Kanye killed her.
Yeah.
I said it.
That's an interesting conspiracy.
I'm saying she was in the Kanye video, and then she died.
I think the narcotics played a part.
The same ones that he's on? Or the same ones that USADA is not testing for because we have a list of fighters. Well, I shouldn't say we have a list. There's a list of fighters that USADA is honoring for passing all of their drug tests. And at the top of that list is none other than
Chris Cyborg, top of her class.
What? Cyborg, drug test.
Just so happened to be the most tested fighter.
But how funny is it, though, that Cyborg tests and something positive are all in the same sentence, but it's a good thing.
Yeah, but it's a good thing. I was about to say, does he know what he's doing right now?
It's all a good thing. Power to her.
Yeah, good for her. It's just like you can't not have the feeling of waiting for that other shoe to drop.
Well, it's funny though because I did love when she was going at it with Holly Holm, and she was like, "This is bullshit. I've been tested more times than Holly has. I've been tested 3 times this week, and Holly's been tested once this month." And I'm just like, "Yeah, but you know why?"
Don't you wish Holly said, "What do you want, a trophy?"
Well, Holly did say that.
Well, now she's got one.
Holly said, and I quote, she said, I get tested just like everybody else gets tested. She said, but I have nothing to hide, so I don't complain about it. I was like, zing, and then she lost the fight, so it didn't matter.
Well, anyway, how about King Mo after his loss to Ryan Bader, talking about moving down to middleweight?
How about King Mo after us perfectly calling him getting absolutely destroyed by Ryan Bader.
I'm not gonna lie, I jumped on the bandwagon after Muka was like just not having it.
You said you picked Mo to win?
No,
I
was saying that Bader. I said Bader had the better wrestling, and he's got a left hook that is way more powerful than anything he had.
Mm-hmm.
But I couldn't even get that far into explaining it because you just kept going.
Stonewall.
Can't lose.
Listen, I like to stay away from nevers in MMA because weird things have happened. You know, Rio Chonin will throw a reverse flying scissor heel hook out of nowhere on Anderson Silva when he's losing the fight. Or Anderson Silva will lock up a triangle on Chael. Or Chet Congo will pull out his first knockout in 35 years on a night that you say he's not going to knock somebody out.
But the middle one there, the in between Rio Chonin's beautiful flying leg scissor catch wrestling style and Chet Congo's red hook, there's one in the middle of that one of these things is unlike the other. Where
you still did have the feeling that
my fucking little sister would have been able to get out of that triangle.
Oh, absolutely.
It's just
absolutely. It is so funny because if you look at it, like if you look at his leg, it wasn't even tight. Anderson was tired in the fifth round. It was just all Chael had to do was posture up, just stack.
Not even all Chael had to do was just relax.
I think he did relax too much. And he was like, I think it's time for me to check out here.
No, Anderson gave it a little bit of a squeeze with his hips.
A little bit.
And Chael kind of went with it, making it worse for himself.
Yeah.
But anyway, digress. But King Mo moving the middleweight. Who do you see him matching up with first?
I don't want to say this because it's just so cliche. So cliche. And, we're throwing names out there.
Are they in the title picture?
Because he's in the title picture. He just left the UFC. Gegard. So Gegard's fighting for the belt.
Yeah, I was going to say, so do you see Gegard beating Rafael?
Yeah.
See,
and there's history behind it. They fought before.
I forgot about that.
Yeah.
How did that go?
Mo won.
Was that... Oh, no, I thought you meant Rafael.
Oh, no.
Now, obviously, King Mo and Gegard fought in Strikeforce in that very controversial fight. I mean, the only time since Bas Rutten and Kevin Randleman
he was using those,
where the fighter on the bottom did more damage, but in Randleman actually won by doing damage on the bottom, whereas in Gegard shut King Mo's eye with elbows.
Mm-hmm. It was just, I remember watching that fight, it was just the optics of it, though, because I saw he was doing more damage, but then I'd also see Gegard striking and putting his hands on his head, the back of his head, just lazy, just typical Gegard posture.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, I see that he's working, but it also looks like he's not trying.
See, but I felt like when he did strike, he made it count.
Oh, absolutely.
King Mo was fucked up after that.
Yeah, dude. Absolutely. That was 5 rounds of
after the 25 minutes was up, he almost needed help standing out of the guard. Because Gegard I guarantee he gave him somewhat of a concussion.
Oh, absolutely.
It wasn't just external damage.
Absolutely.
I mean, he was just just cross elbows and all sorts of fun stuff. I mean, Frank Shamrock said back in the day, the most underused technique in MMA is striking off your back.
Absolutely. I don't know why people don't strike off your back.
I mean, perfect example in the past calendar year, GSP Michael Bisping.
Yeah.
And he made those fuckers count.
Them elbows were real.
On the nose.
Yeah. And the thing is, too, we've seen Bisping lose. We've seen Bisping get wrestle fucked. So for him to pull it out was eye-opening.
Yeah, I mean, he just went down. He realized that he had the reach to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just, I've never seen it done to the nose like that. It was
literally to the nose.
Yeah, I mean, that's another one of those things where, Brendan Schaub's is famous for saying MMA's copycat league.
Yeah.
But we haven't seen it since or before,
Yeah.
Sooner or later, another guy's going to realize, I got so much length on this guy. He can take me down all day, and I may not be able to out-wrestle him, but I can fuck that face up.
But we say all this to say that
Gegard is the guy, King.
Gegard is the fight to make. This history, you could sell it Or if you want, who's the guy that Gegard fought when he came to the Russian guy that's been in Bellator for years? Shlemenko?
Yes.
Yeah. Or you could do
the
that.
guy from M1.
Yeah, or you could do that. Even though that guy's borderline welterweight against King.
I like your first idea that the idea that Gegard's gonna get past Raphael.
Gegard's gonna get past Raphael,
and then
bet the house.
King.
Or because Bellator still has somebody else on their roster who should have retired years ago, who is also a blacker than the Ace of Spades. We love our black on black crime when it comes to MMA. Melvin Manhoof. Melvin Manhoof versus King Lo.
Oh man.
Let's do it. Why not? I'm just getting fun here. Listen, the rules don't apply when it's Bellator. We can throw out any fight we want and it'll somehow make sense.
I feel like if King Mo were to fight again in a US-based promotion, even though we know it'll probably be in Italy or some shit, I want to see him fight a striker because I just don't feel like being disappointed for 15 minutes with like his game afraid on. I want to see that crazy Dutchman who was the first guy to ever cold KO Mark Hunt. I mean, think about that shit. I mean,
it's weird too because when I saw that shot, it didn't even look like
the Mark Hunt one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was the same. It was almost the same shot that Fedor landed.
It looked like
close.
The run of the mill.
Yeah.
But
slept him.
But he hit him on the button.
Yeah, slept him. The button's a weird thing, guys.
Especially, I mean, because we both know Melvin is one of those Dutch kickboxers where they focus so much on the points of pressure where they hit a guy. I'm not talking about obviously those stupid pressure point.
Yeah, no, not the grab your thumb and you can't move.
That dumb shit.
That Steven Seagal.
Yeah.
I shouldn't say that because I don't know if you know this. He taught my good friend Lyoto that kick. And then he said, use the kick.
That's true. That's true. We have it on good authority that Steven Seagal.
And then I told him, use the kick.
See, it was either Seagal who taught Lyoto the kick in the Randy fight, and he taught Anderson the kick for the Vitor fight. That we'll get to that. But first and foremost, the fight he used that Lyoto used on Randy, it was either Steven or it might have been this cult movie from the 80s. I'm not sure if you saw it. It was called The Karate Kid.
Yeah, pretty much.
It may have been that. If you saw it. Who knows? Mm-hmm. Because it looked a lot like the crane kick.
Literally, the crane kick.
It was 100% the crane kick. Fucking Steven Seagal. Either way, so what we're getting at is Lyoto Machida. He's fighting Vitor Belfort. Vitor Belfort this time is not incorrect. He is right that it's the last fight on his contract. Didn't fuck it up this time.
No more. He doesn't have to run from his side anymore.
Yep, and they.
Oh, how about that? Vitor goes to Bellator, fights King Mo. See, we can say this stuff because it's Bellator, and it would sound off the cuff, but then somehow happens.
I would love to see King Mo versus Vitor just for that.
TRT Vitor. Oh
it's
my God.
Be TRT. That's my fear, though, is that if Vitor makes a move, I want him to go someplace where there is no commission.
Well, let me tell you something. Joe Rogan has said it numerous times. He doesn't believe that Bellator has good testing. He doesn't believe it. And it was funny because he had Michael Chandler on the podcast, and he was basically saying it. He was like, yeah, but we have USADA. You guys don't. I was like, damn.
Yeah, but, they still, every once in a while, somebody gets popped for something. Kimbo got popped.
Wasn't it for weed, though?
No, for steroids.
On
the Dada 5000 card, Kimbo popped for that.
Wait. Hey. God rest the dead. Kimbo fought on steroids and still put on that performance against Dada?
Yep, him and Ken tested positive.
Well,
I know the sky's blue, but yeah. But I'm just
like it was hilarious because I still have that vision burning in my head of him yelling across the cage, "You kicked me in the balls on purpose!" And the veins in his neck and arm while he's saying that, I'm just like, oh, he's gonna die right now if he doesn't stop yelling. Like if he yells one more word, he's going to have a heart attack. He was on everything. In that
Little did we know that it was Dada
that had the heart attack. But yeah, I mean,
man, it's just yeah, I agree with you. But Vitor, I feel like he needs to go on to someplace where they don't give a fuck, and maybe the aforementioned ABD in Russia or
well, you said
RCC.
it. You said it. He's got his magnifying glass on Russia.
That's what I was building to. His direct quote was that I am not done fighting after my UFC. This is obviously prior to Leona in the next week, and
he still hasn't woken up yet.
Yeah, hopefully in next week he's waiting and thinking about which org he wants to sign with. But he got kicked. But prior to that, he said that, quote, there's a lot of money to be made in Russia. I would still be very interested in fighting Fedor. Now, a nice little postscript to that is the fact that he nearly fought Fedor at Affliction 3 in an attempt to save the card when Barnett tested positive for steroids. Also, we've also mentioned in the past that the other front runner at the time was Cain Velasquez, which
would have changed the MMA community.
It would change, the whole butterfly effect would have been crazy.
But I don't know, man. I think that it's a good move for Mo to go to middleweight. He also somehow is able to fight in Bellator and Ryzen at the same time. He's got like a dual contract.
Well, they clearly have some sort of co-promotion deal because in the lead up to the Bader fight, they showed footage from the recent Grand Prix. And
in the same thing with what's his name? With Krokop. They showed they've been showing the footage of him knocking out Mo.
Yeah, they showed him knocking out the other guy too. The brunette guy with the beard, like up against the corner, he got head kicked.
Yeah. I know you're talking about.
It was the first time he ever landed a head kick in God knows how long.
He landed one against Pat Barry. He just didn't end it.
No, but like dude,
I know.
In the three fights in that Grand Prix, 2 were head kick knockouts, which tells you he was back on the jiu-jitsu.
Which tells you that Russia don't care. Listen, I love it. Listen, all I'm saying is we called that King Mo is not winning that fight. I've never been that confident a day in my life. And I'm going to keep saying that. I'm taking that to the house. And you know what? I'm going to go out on a limb, too. He's going to fight Gegard in a rematch. Because since he's talking about middleweight, either he fights Gegard or he fights someone in Ryzen. He'll probably go to Ryzen, get a quick win, test the waters at 85, and then come back to Bellator and
maybe
fight.
But the caveat I would add to that is the fact that Ryzen is only putting on a card every 6 months or so. I mean, and they just had one, Ryzen 10.
Yeah.
About 2-3 weeks ago.
Yeah, no, I think it was
about a week ago.
Yeah, it was a week ago because we covered the last show. Yeah.
Versus Kyoji
Haraguchi.
Yeah. But anyway, what do you think about CM Punk being the opening fight on the pay-per-view part of UFC 225?
So, and he gets pay-per-view points.
Yep.
So we have what's his name? We have legends like Mark the Hammer Coleman, who has GoFundMes for his surgery because he gave his literal whole body to the sport and got paid $10. Like literally, he probably didn't. Tito said in an interview he didn't get paid for his first 2 UFC fights ever. So I believe that it was dark times back then.
It's not hard to believe that at all.
And I'm sure Mark Coleman would do worse. They didn't even have pay-per-view points back then. So now this guy who was a wrestler who has no skills whatsoever, and I hate to bash him because anyone who gets in the cage gets my respect. I always say that. Even if I don't like them, I'll call them every name in the book. But there's still a base layer of respect. So he does have that. But you're going to have this guy open up the pay-per-view. What was this past pay-per-view? What was this past pay-per-view opener?
Let's see, UFC 224.
Was it Kelleher? Oh, it was Lyoto. So you went from having 2 legends, 2 former champions, 2 people with
2 Hall of Famers.
2 Hall of Famers with over 40 UFC fights between them.
And then some.
And then you have 2 guys who are 0-1. And one of them is a journalist, and the other guy is a WWE guy. And both of them have gotten submitted in the first round to Mickey Gall.
Yeah, I mean, there's not much more to say about it.
It's just
how we got to wait and see how it shakes out, which we will. But I would like to try to wrap up this week's show with some rapid fire.
Let's do it.
I'm gonna name the story.
That is, in fact, Tyron Woodley.
Speaking of Tyron Woodley, before we even get into this, they just dropped the trailer to Escape Plan 2, which he's going to be in. And I remember I told you about this, that he was talking about how like all the racism's keeping him down. And I told you that I saw a photo of him on set in rags as a prisoner. And it's like, you're not helping your cause. Anyway, somehow this movie, I don't know if you saw the first one. It was pretty god-awful.
Didn't.
It was the first movie was Schwarzenegger and Stallone are in a prison. Stallone is the architectural guy who like knows how to break out of every prison.
Automatically, as soon as you hear that, you turn the movie off.
And they're trapped in the prison that Stallone designed, that Schwarzenegger designed to be on break out of. That you find out throughout the movie is on a boat. And it's supposed to be like a whole movie teaching you the dangers of private sector prisons.
Yes.
But anyway, no Schwarzenegger this time, and the movie will be direct to VOD, Blu-ray, and all that, no theater release. And it's not just Stallone alone. He's co-starring Drax himself, Dave Bautista.
Okay, all right. Yeah, we're getting a little better.
As a weapons expert.
We're getting a little better.
And apparently this prison's whole shtick is that you have to fight your way out. And enter Tyron Woodley.
They're going to fight Tyron Woodley, and he's going to win by devastating split decision. In the movie.
No, it's going to be a complete escape from reality where Stallone, and I think I saw it in the trailer if you look real close, Stallone like manhandles Woodley. Probably.
You know, we
think I saw Little Heathen.
But we've seen that when MMA fighters cross over. You know, what's his name was just in a movie, the Den of Thieves movie with 50 Cent and Ice Cube's son. Anyway, there's a movie that just came out and Max Holloway was in it, and like Ice Cube's son pulls out a gun on Max Holloway and he like back down. We've seen it.
Oh yeah, I mean they always show. I mean, on Breaking Bad, Keith Jardine
got beat up by Hank and a couple of Keith Jardine's boys. And then we had Captain America beat up GSP. First off, I love Marvel. I'm the biggest nerd of all time. A lot of times these movies have comic book inconsistencies, but the fact that GSP didn't go for a takedown in that movie was the fakest thing I've ever seen in my entire life.
And he was in Parkour.
Yes, he was doing Superman punches and spinning back.
So disappointed they didn't bring him back, even just for like, you know how they brought Frank Grillo back as Crossbones to kill him.
Just to kill him in 3 seconds into the movie.
They needed to bring him back because GSP's character was like he was
a Leaper.
Yeah, he was a comic book guy.
And people don't know this. Sorry to riff, we're an MMA podcast, but we know other things too. But Leaper is actually one of the few characters whose the two co-creators, one worked for DC and one worked for Marvel. So, but Leaper is in Marvel and he's in DC. So he's fought Captain America. He's also fought Batman and stuff like that.
So GSP could have had that sweet deal.
GSP, he could have crossed over, been in Guardians of the Galaxy. They could have CGI'd off his mustache.
George, the peacekeeper, brings DC out of the curtain blue.
Exactly. This guy.
So let me hit you with the rapid fire.
Let's go.
Okay, Chuck Liddell officially out of retirement today, announcing it, aiming for the Ortiz fight, part 3, after he destroyed Tito twice in the previous 2 outings.
On the Ultimate Fighter, they coached against each other, and his fighters won.
Leading up to a third fight that never happened. Yes. Rich Franklin stepped in, and in Liddell's last fight, unfortunately,
he knocked him out with a broken arm.
Rich knocked him out with a broken arm. It was the last time he fought. That was June 12th, 2010. The plan is for the fight to take place underneath Golden Boy's umbrella. Oscar De La Hoya, probably going to be a one-time thing to do an MMA event as a fuck you to Dana White after the Conor Floyd fight eclipsed Canelo versus Triple G over the summer. That feels like what this is all about. Chuck has said that the fight is aiming for November in Nevada or California. Thoughts? Because I know Chuck's been like going on forever, ever since he retired for 8 years now, he's been talking about a comeback fight.
I remember because there was rumblings about Chael.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I am not for this at all. I don't like Oscar. I'm never gonna like Oscar. I don't. I can have a whole podcast on why I don't like Oscar. I don't want him to be around MMA. He's the typical boxer who knows nothing about MMA. When there's a camera in front of him, he says, "Use the jab more." You don't see fighters in MMA using the jab.
That's his chestnut.
So I don't want him to touch that because he's gonna have 2 dinosaurs.
That's Oscar De La Hoya's version of like. Did you know that Mark Twain's real name was Samuel Clemens? Anyway,
it just no to all of it. But you know what the worst part about it is?
What?
We're still gonna watch it if it happens.
And we talked off the air about like hopefully Oscar goes for broke and like dips into his J-Yo money and like
makes it a freak show.
Yeah, like let's get
Crazy Horse versus Cyborg.
Crazy Horse versus Ben Askren.
Yeah, just
and imagine if the horse pulls it out.
Oh my goodness!
he pulls the Wanderlei, the quick punch. Punches him in the face and says, "I don't know you, Edward, run away." And it's just like, winner by TKO. Oh, he left the cage.
Oh, yeah.
Winner by default is Ben Askren.
No, but who knows, man? I would love for him to go balls to the wall, just make the freak show. If you're gonna go be a freak show, be a freak show.
Gotta be the freakiest freak show.
After CM Punk loses his next fight, have him in the main event. Have him as the special guest referee. If that's still a thing.
Oh, I mean, Dave Bautista had one fight. Bring him in.
Oh, yeah. Why not? The guy that Dave Bautista lost to in a handicap match against CM Punk and Dave Bautista.
No. Dave Bautista versus who's another MMA fighter who had one pro wrestler who had a MMA fight.
Brock Lesnar?
No.
Bobby Lashley.
Yeah, I was going to say Bobby Lashley at first, but I was trying to. There was a guy in Pride who got knocked out by Butterbean.
Ooh. Oh, fucking Butterbean,
yeah.
Roy Nelson, with what's his name? The guy that just fought.
Strike up a deal with Bellator, make it happen.
Just make it. Get Oscar. Do some. What you're gonna do is you're gonna do snort a line, put on those fishnets, and only then do you write out the fighters you want on this card.
Yes.
Make it as freak show as possible.
And you know what? Fuck it. Do the fight in Thailand and sign John Jones.
And John Jones.
Pay him in a kilo.
John Jones versus Fallon Fox in Thailand. They'd love it.
Oh my God. Or not even. Fuck Fallon Fox. You get one of those ridiculously tough lady boys who actually can whoop ass in Muay Thai over there. And tell her that. Now, we're not doing any of that fucking that's slow. You know how in the first 3 rounds they drone slowly?
Yeah.
That's the pace of the fight so the vets can get in.
And
you tell her none of that.
It's just like straight leg.
You go out there, he throws a knee, you hit him with your dick. That's the Bangkok way.
She's Bangkok dangerous.
No, I was doing the untouchable stuff. You know? He brings a knife, you bring a gun. That's the Chicago way. But there's more to the story.
Mm-hmm.
Chuck Liddell has once again called out John Jones. That's why. And Chuck's been doing this again for 8 years.
He's been doing this for 8 years.
I mean, he just can't deal with the fact that John shattered all his records.
And John said that.
And John responded this time for the first time in 8 years, saying that he would fly out the Hall of Famer to Albuquerque to have the fight at Jackson Wink. But he also said, "I usually respect my elders, but if you want it, come get it."
And another caveat to it too is people forget Chuck, when he started working for the UFC after he retired, he's the one who brought over Glover, and he was saying, Glover's the guy that's going to beat John. I've been training Glover for years, blah, 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 this and that. So when John walked through Glover, it definitely lit a fire underneath him more.
Yeah, and I know it's going to piss you off, but I got to bring it up.
What?
The fact that I thought Glover had one of the better chances, but John being, and because it's props to John too, John being the smart fighter he is, he took the weapon Glover had out of the equation.
Oh, when he wrenched his arm and just...
He used a straight arm bar right out of catch wrestling from the clinch position.
Yep.
And basically nearly dislocated the elbow.
No, and Glover said, going on to say that his arm still hasn't been the same.
Yeah,
still to this day.
It's one of those moves that will fuck a guy up from.
And then you had someone like Rampage. You have to change your name from Rampage when you go on the MMA Hour and you say stuff like the moves that John Jones do should be illegal. That arm wrench and that knee kick he does, they should be illegal.
Oh, the elliptical?
Yeah, he said both of those should be illegal. Like, oh, if you take a step the wrong way and he does that, you can hyperextend your leg. Yeah, well, if I do a spinning back fist and you duck and I hit your temple, you can die.
Well, so speaking of Rampage, do we touch on all the Instagram rumors that I can't substantiate about Jackson versus Jackson?
Jackson versus Jackson.
50.
50 Cent versus Rampage. And it's funny because a lot of stuff has been going on social media. You know, a whole bunch of Instagram posts. 50 posted he's the real Jackson and he's going to show all these MMA fighters what's up. And then he tagged Rampage. Rampage then responded with it was a meme. And he said, when rappers call you out, but anyone could get this work. You got pictures floating around of 50 Cent having dinner. 50 Cent was actually at the Bellator event this weekend, too. He was front row. He's friends with Scott Coker. Let me tell you something.
Can I get this shit first? I got to just throw it out there. This seems like nothing more, nothing less than an opportunity for 50 Cent to up his brand and to stay in the mix and maybe build to something else. But at the end of the day, we know what 50's trying to do.
Hey. Listen. At the end of the day, as soon as I saw all this, I believed it for 3 seconds because a couple of sources that I follow on MMA, who are valid sources, posted it. I was a little skeptical. Brendan Shaw posted it. I started to lean a little bit toward it. But then I realized 50 does this all the time. I guarantee you an album is coming out within the next couple months.
Exactly.
100%.
The Mayweather effect.
100%. An album is coming out soon because let's be real. Rampage is old and he's past his prime, but he would absolutely murder 50 Cent.
And I see all these people going on, 50's got golden gloves, yo.
What does that have to do with the price team?
And it's just like, does everyone have golden gloves?
It doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean anything. 50 also got beat up by Big Pun in 1997.
50's also made a career out of the fact that they did not miss him 9 times.
50 Cent has a restraining order on Vivica Fox.
Well, I can understand that.
Hey, she was in Sharknado 3. Leave her alone.
Okay, that's a story for another day. But more to rapid fire. You know, we're going to need more time to cover it, so we're going to pass over the UFC ESPN deal at the moment, just to put a nice little bow on it. Essentially what it means, folks, if you don't understand it, is that it's a way to milk you for more money. The UFC is going to say take Kevin Lee and
Eddie Alvarez or Dustin Poirier, whoever the winner of that fight is, because that just got announced.
So let's say Eddie Alvarez and Poirier, they put on ESPN. Like, you're still going to have your Fight Pass account, but you're going to need to sign up to ESPN and pay a fee to see that live card. And they're going to my understanding, they'll own that fight and that card in perpetuity, meaning forever. Like how occasionally you'll put on Showtime and you'll see like Frank Shamrock versus Phil Baroni back from 2008. So it's going to be that sort of situation. But moving on from that, real quick, UFC staffers robbed in Rio 2 nights before the fights.
We didn't even get into this. Let me tell you something. I tell people all the time, it's beautiful. You know, I'd love to go to Brazil. I can't stand Kobe Covington. Maybe he was on something. You know, a lot of these guys are hungry out there. A lot of these guys see a whole bunch of UFC staff members at the nicest hotel wearing their big UFC shirts with posters everywhere, and they don't expect something like this to happen.
Don't they usually have like armed guard?
From my understanding is because Brian Kelleher, I believe it was his manager, got robbed, and a couple of other people that are staffers. From my understanding was these guys walked into the lobby, broad daylight of the hotel, and just pulled out a gun and said, "Give me everything you guys have." Right there. Broad daylight. This is a bad look on Dana. This is a bad look on the UFC. You know the stuff. You know the trouble areas.
I mean, in Rio is right by the favelas, right?
Yeah.
So I mean,
the slums.
You need to be aware right there.
Not only, but not even the bash Brazil. This can happen anywhere. Why isn't there security?
No, but I mean, even with security, I mean, I'm sure you've heard the stories about like how the favelas are run like their own entity.
Yeah.
Like how like at different levels there's different.
I was looking. I was going a little deep in the rabbit hole, and like a lot. I saw like this one guy from Brazil saying, "Oh, security wouldn't have been able to do anything. This and that. The cops didn't." He said there was a reason. And what's it called? They said that there was a reason why nobody in the hotel, like none of the hotel staff, called the cops when it happened either. They just let it rock.
Yeah, see, and like I think it was Chael Sonnen who said he was the only person who's ever had a situation there where he was paranoid enough because of the stuff he said to pay attention, where he was on the highway with security and they thought that they were about to be in the middle of a situation, but it turned out just to be a fluke. There was a car in front of them with their hazards on, and that's usually the sign of a carjacking about to happen. And they pulled off the ramp, and the guy kept going straight, so nothing came of it.
Yeah.
But like they told him and his wife who was in the car, like, "Be ready, this could go down any second now." I mean, so like that's the level of paranoia you need to have when you go around the world.
The UFC does have that stake. You know, Kobe was supposed to be on the card this weekend. They pushed him to 225.
Yeah, I mean, and that really shows you with good reasoning after that.
And think about that. Now, honestly, think about that. This robbery happened, and they just went after whoever. But Kobe has talked more shit about this country than anyone else. And Kobe would have been in that lobby, and what would have happened? It wouldn't have been a boomerang.
Yeah,
it wouldn't have been a boomerang. Someone would have hit him, and it wouldn't have came back.
But at the same time, we're talking about favela gangsters, not special force.
Hitmen. Yeah.
Like if a gun went off, good chance it would have either missed high and wide or it would have hit some poor girl or some shit. But like I said, it's rapid fire for a reason. Darren Till posted a video of his sparring partner. You let me know that he posted a video of him tuning him up, but then what everyone really focused on was the sparring partner dropping him.
Yeah. And
the partner, I don't know if they mentioned it, but I sure as hell noticed that the sparring partner was a lefty and really held his stealth like Conor McGregor, like a in and out stance, up chin. What do you think? Pro or con posting the video of yourself getting dropped?
It's always a con. It's always a con. Listen, every fighter knows what happens in the gym. No one's 100%. You know, that's why a lot of fighters will always say, what happens in the gym stays in the gym, this and that. So we don't need to see it. Now, do I think, I think that he was catching a lot of heat because he showed himself whipping his sparring partner's ass. B, I think he also wanted to do two things. He wanted to show that he's not a dick when he trains. He wanted to show he gets his licks into. He also wanted to give Wonder Boy some false confidence. Like, oh, look, that guy's trying to emulate my style a little bit, a little Conor-esque, a little point fighter-esque, a little, he's a little fluid. He's leaning back a little bit, kind of like I do. I think that he wanted to get Wonder Boy's attention, but I can't say it's a good thing to ever show you getting caught like that.
Unless maybe, just maybe, and it's like a 1% chance that maybe he feels like if Wonder Boy comes in conventionally like that, at that angle, and tries to attack, he can hit him with a counter or something he's got worked out. Also, sorry to cut you off, but I was saying too, if you look at the two videos he posted, the one of him beating up on his sparring partner and the sparring partner beating up on him, they're not at the same time. It's not the same day. It might not even be the same month. Like if you look at that, like some little subtle stuff, like the haircuts and stuff, this video of him getting his ass beat could be from a year ago. Yeah. And he's better now. He's just like, oh, let me see that. Like, who knows? Well, who knows? But like I said, it's called rapid fire, so we can just burn it through.
Keep going, keep showing. Moving
on, I wanted to quote a tweet of all things because it really had me laughing. At Grabaka_Hitman tweeted, Aldo versus Little Heathen should be for the violence weight title. Agree or disagree?
Absolutely disagree. When was the last time Jose Aldo was violent? Let's be honest.
That's true.
Let's be honest.
Because you said that he's going to win.
Woo! Flying knee now. We called it.
And
that's it.
He's going to keep hitting him after the ref tries to stop
He's going to land the same exact Congo landed.
No, but like he's going to get like 20 extra punches in, throw the ref away.
So what you're saying is Yamasaki's going to be the ref of that fight?
No, because the ref's trying to stop it, so it can't be Yamasaki.
Yamasaki's going to grab his hand while he's unconscious and make him tap and still not look at it.
Okay, well, just to bust through real quick, I mentioned to you how Road FC 47, another, I'm not sure where it is. It might be Japan. It might be in China for all I know. Mm-hmm. They had a lot of Pride FC guys. Gilbert Yvel got a win by technical sub armbar in the first.
Ooh. Do you know how bad it is to get a technical sub for an armbar?
And Gilbert Yvel getting a sub.
Well, Gilbert Yvel, if you guys don't know, has about 17 to 18 losses, and I want to say about 5 of them are DQs.
Yeah, he's like next to Gary Goodridge, who they ironically fought, and I think Yvel beat him with a head kick back on Pride. Like a telegraphed, fucking just horrible head kick. And we both know Gary's got the head trauma issue.
He's got all the CTE.
The pugilistic dementia.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, Gilbert Yvel is still doing the damn thing. Every now and again, I remember there's a time where we would see him in the UFC pop up from one fight here, one fight there. Mm-hmm. I mean, there's a couple current former champions that are still on the roster who wins over him. Like
Dos Santos. He fought, who else did he fight?
Fabricio, I think.
No, he didn't fight Wardell. No. I think he fought Cheick Kongo.
Yeah, you're right.
He fought Kongo. Back in Congo was finishing people. Oh, can't say that. Can't say that. He's finishing people again.
Ollie Thompson, James Thompson's brother, scored a second-round TKO, knees of the body. Fujita, the guy who got Uber kneed in the Uber face back at that Dream NYE card, got a TKO by retirement. I didn't get to see the fight, so I assume retirement means throw the towel in.
So retirement means you your corner called it.
Yeah, so I figured it'd be the towel in the second round. This card, most interestingly, had a women's open weight bout. Gabby Garcia.
Oh no!
Dominated Veronica Famita.
No. How old was this woman?
She wasn't one of those grannies.
Okay.
She was relatively within 10 years of Gabby. First round sub by back mount. They tried saying it was a rear naked choke.
Oh, she looked the triangle in. I've seen that happen before, actually.
No, dude, it was not anything close to that. She got her hooks in on the back, but she didn't flatten her out. And then she got literally the second she has the wrist past the neck, the ref waved the fight off. Because there was just so much weight on the other chick's back.
That she was going to die.
Maybe that, or he thought that was enough to stop it because the choke was unavoidable at that point, it seemed.
I'm okay with that stoppage.
But also prior to that, before she got the RNC, she got the position by having her up against and just all muscle,
no technique,
power suplexed her to her knees.
Let me tell you something.
German style behind the back.
I don't think you guys understand how manly you have to look to stand next to Cyborg and be the manly one.
Insanely. I mean, this woman's proportions are crazy.
It's actually terrifying. Did you see the picture of her when she used to be fat?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
You know what's even worse? Like now she's starting to look more regular, but
what? Describe regular.
Boy, that's what I'm getting at. The first time she fought after she lost the weight at Horizon 1, watched that fight and look at
when she was just
she had missiles for tits.
Juice when she was actually overing.
Yes.
Back when she was overing.
Yes.
She was 2011.
Dude, this was her jaw.
Yeah.
Like it was in.
She was Jorgen von Strangle.
Dude, she could have finished bitches with just jamming her chin on the carotid artery.
The cribs and shit. Listen, I don't know what Ryan was doing. We just talked about Belter being a freak show. They're a freak show too.
But they're not being freaky enough, in my opinion. But the last thing we'll end it on is right now there's 3 guys tied for the all-time record of wins in the UFC. They are George Rush St. Pierre, Michael Bisping, and Cowboy Cerrone. Donald Cowboy Cerrone. They're all tied at 20. There's a bunch of guys at 19, 18, etc. But who do you see breaking the tie first?
There's no question about it. Bisping's talking about retiring. GSP is talking about fighting Nate Diaz. Nate Diaz is not talking about fighting him, so who knows when GSP is going to fight again. And Cowboy probably has 17 fights lined for the rest of this year. Cowboy's easily going to win it. easily going to break this record. He's done it the fastest. He's done it arguably the best looking. You know, I mean, not championship level wise because the other two have won belts, but if we had a consistent marathon of all three of their fights, Cowboy's fights would be the most exciting ones. So I think Cowboy does it easily. He's going to bring
Cowboy 100% gets number 21.
100% gets number 21
and stands alone there for a little bit.
I think he goes to 30 wins.
You think Cowboy's got another 10 in him?
Yeah, I say he's got another probably 20 fights in his career left, and I say he probably got another 10 wins in him.
See, I feel like Cowboy tops out at 25.
Which is still high.
Yeah, it's definitely high, but like I mean, it's all depending on how long the UFC keeps him around before Dana tries to give him the talk.
Dana blatantly said when the whole thing went down in New York and Conor and all that happens, and Khabib had 5 different opponents in 5 different days, Dana White said, and I quote, "There's only 3 people on my roster who I know for a fact would have still fought anybody." He said Conor, he said Khabib, and he said Cowboy. Dana loves Cowboy.
Yeah, that's true.
Dana absolutely loves Cowboy.
But the fact that he loves him makes me feel like he'd be quick to have the conversation the second Cowboy showed some, signs.
See, but I feel like Dana is making more money, so he doesn't care as much. Compassionate Dana told BJ to stop. Compassionate Dana told Chuck to stop. Compassionate Dana told Matt Hughes to stop before the train came. But now you see him having Bisping get dropped and then fighting a week later. You see Frankie getting lifted off the ground with an uppercut and then fighting a month later. I feel like Dana would be like, "Listen, you want to make me some money? Go ahead, kid. I don't know you."
Maybe I talked too soon. I'll throw one more in there because I'm not sure we mentioned on the air that it was just announced that in July, along with the names Matt Serra, a couple others being introduced in the UFC Hall of Fame, the first fight to be announced as how they have their own section for the fights.
Yeah,
obviously Forrest and Bonner was the first one. Yeah,
most overrated MMA fight ever. I said it.
You can hear me doing the fucking jack off symbol. But anyway, this one's warranted.
Which one?
Shogun Hendo 1.
Abso-freaking-lutely.
100%.
Absolutely.
This fight took place at UFC 139.
Yep.
It had a sequel that nearly lived up to the fight.
Yeah.
And that's all there is to it.
2 Pride legends, 2 former champs. Hendo not of the UFC, but still a champ.
And a bunch of knees and H-bombs.
And a bunch of knees, a bunch of H-bombs, a bunch of full mount pounding, a bunch of blood, a bunch of back and forth. It's one of the best fights of all time.
These are 2 guys putting on a hell of a fight at middleweight?
No, it took place at light heavy.
It was light heavy?
Yeah, it was light heavy.
Because I was going to say, you're right.
Shogun never went to middleweight.
You're right. It was light heavy because I was thinking I forgot that Vitor on TRT was a light heavy.
Yeah.
Because that was my whole point. That this is all while he's looming in the background.
Mm-hmm.
And I think this bookended the Hendo fights 2 and 3 versus Vitor.
3 was so unnecessary.
Oh yeah, the uppercut that lifted him off the ground.
To the head kick.
Yeah, to the head kick. Just like step by step. The uppercut lifts him up like fucking George Foreman did to Joe Frazier. And then the head kick the second he got his bearings.
It was actually disrespectful to a legend. A few times I see a knockout coming before it happens, and I'm just like, why did the UFC do this? And oftentimes I'm in the moment and I'm like, yeah, this is awesome. I saw, when they announced that I knew it was going to happen, TRT Vitor is the GOAT. But as soon as he uppercutted him and lifted him off the ground, I then said, this is shame on the UFC. You don't do this to a legend.
100%. So I think that's all the news that's fit to print.
That is. Listen, man, we are the unknown experts. We promise we will make it up to you guys. We have Kamaru Usman fighting
Damian Maia
this weekend.
I believe FS1.
I think Fight Pass.
Fight Pass.
Well, anyway, listen, we promised we would give you guys commentary. We're going to break this fight down for you.
I know it's not nearly as exciting as the quarterfinal Bellator and 224 going down.
But who knows? We're going to work our magic. I'm going to say the same thing I said to Chick Congo. All decisions. This whole card's going to be all decisions. And hopefully our magic works.
Hopefully it's going to be a fun show to do. If not, we'll make it silly enough to be, and who knows, maybe we'll start wrestling with our guests.
Exactly.
I mean, what can you do?
Listen, man, I'm Roger.
And I'm Mike, as always.
Like the farmer said to the potato, I'll dig you later.
Viva la Fedora!